Welcome back to the Barrel Talk Podcast. This is episode 123. I'm joined with Connor Carson's Nick Gwynn on the call. How we doing?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man.
Back with another week of football. Depressing week for some.
Jesus.
I want to move this, but Wild Card Weekend has officially wrapped up.
Now this is where we go. This is where we go. Now we're in the divisional. This is where things are going to take a turn.
We had some predictions wrong, for sure.
Yeah.
I think Nick was the only person that took the Texans.
Yep.
And then you were the only person that took...
I took the Lions.
Yeah, you took the Lions. I mean, that one wasn't really... That was just a good game. I'm just glad it was a good game. I didn't really care who won that one.
I didn't cover. So...
No.
I mean, good teams win, great teams cover.
Makes you think of how different that game could have been if they just managed their timeouts better. Because two of the timeouts they used were kind of in bad spots.
And then just the Lion, Dan Campbell was just fucking, I don't know, he just throws his nuts on the ground. And it was like second down and he fucking passed the ball. And they got the first down and just won the game.
Yeah.
You were like, no, that's the game. You're like, it's over. I'm like, yeah, they have no timeouts. They can just fucking knee it.
Yeah. But going into this week, we can kind of start out with the big topic. Kind of give Nick the floor on this one. Who's to blame for the Cowboys?
Just what went wrong?
Yeah, what happened? Because I was watching a light-skinned Aaron Rodgers just dice y'all up.
Oh my god.
All right, before you say anything, Micah Parsons, start of the year, said that you guys were a top 3 defense in the league. You guys were stout all year round. I'm not gonna say that there's one game and your defense is shit, but to completely change the scheme of your defense and play more zone than you have all year, and then you wonder why people are wide open. Jordan Love had a game for sure, but Jordan Love didn't feel any kind of pressure all game, throwing wide open receivers.
Romeo Doubs was killing y'all. He was telling Gilmore to be a family man. He said, go home, you're old. Go be a family man.
Like, he completely lost him on that route on the inside. But, Nick, what happened?
So, Micah said that, and then fast forward a little bit, we beat the Eagles, and DeMarcus Lawrence comes out and says, yeah, man, we just showing everybody we the best defense in the world.
Damn.
We just gave up 48 points to the fucking Green Bay Packers in the first round of the playoffs. Who's the most to blame? I think the defense, but blame goes everywhere. It literally goes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Jones, Mike McCarthy, OC, DC, Dak Prescott.
I was gonna say, is it more on Dan Quinn, you think, or do you think it's really just on the players?
We had 4 pressures the entire game.
Okay, so did you guys blitz?
I don't know if we just weren't blitzing, but even if we were, like, we were getting no type of pressure.
The Packers do have one of the more underrated O-lines in the league.
Oh, yeah.
You're the best defense in the world, though.
But you guys have one of the top defensive lines in the league.
Yeah. Like, and we're supposed to have Micah Parsons.
And you're supposed to have a top 5 player in the league on your team.
Supposed to be these top-tier guys.
Uh-huh. And you have all pro DeAndre Bland.
That guy, he's just a ball hawk, dude. If he's not getting an interception, he ain't doing shit.
It's just the same with Trayvon Diggs. Like, I feel like all your corners are kind of like that. Like, they're all like man corners. But once you drop into zone, it's kind of like, fuck. There's not really anywhere else to go. And I feel like your linebackers really weren't doing a whole lot. I think that's where you're really missing LVE.
Yeah, I saw a video we were running. Like, there was only a few plays in that game where we actually had 2 real linebackers lined up. Most of the time, like 90% of the time, it was safeties lined up in the linebacker spot.
Mm-hmm. Even in the run game, like, Aaron Jones just fucking owns you guys. Like,
and that's why. It was because we're not running real linebackers. From
personal experience,
we're running Jaron Curse in the linebacker.
He also owns us. So, but LVE is definitely a lot better in the run game. So, like, he would have been he would have gave him a little hit, little licks. But that start of the game, I was like, damn. Like, that first drive, I was like, wow, they're not going to be able to run the ball. Like, he had, like, 2 or 3 rushes for, like, -2 yards. I was like, they're not going to be able to run the ball. Like, Aaron Jones, no fun game. And then everything after that just turned. Like, Dak threw 2 picks. Defense looked like shit.
Like, CD looked defeated after the first drive.
He looked so out of it. I don't know what it was. Like, he just, like, he looked like, he's like, oh, we lost. Like, 7-0. We lost. I was like, damn.
They said it on the call of the game, like, Jair, like, locked him up on a round, then pushed him in the back.
Yeah,
CD he had like no response to it.
He did not care. It's like he didn't know.
Like, he was just getting bullied, and like, this is somebody who like climbed his way up to like a top 3 to 5 receiver in the league, and then he kind of just was not really. I guess more so just a no-show in that game. I feel like nobody really came to play.
You're gonna look at the stats and you're gonna be like, okay, he had a good game because he had like 11 catches for like fucking 100 and something yards.
A lot of those were in the fourth.
A lot were in the fourth. He caught like a fucking 50-yard bomb like in the fourth quarter. So I can't really like, if you're just glazing over stats and you see that, you're like, okay, well. But if you actually watch the game, you're like, wow, that defense really tore up that offense basically for 3 quarters because then the backups kind of came in the fourth quarter. But
because the Cowboys had a chance, like in the second half, they got the ball, they went down and scored.
All they had to do was get a stop.
Yes, and all they needed was a stop, and then Packers just walked down the field.
Walked down.
Because they had the wide open, was it, God, who was it? I think it was their...
It was probably Dobbs.
No, it was their tight end.
Oh,
it was wide open.
Was it Musgrave or their backup?
I think it was Musgrave.
So he was wide open and then just basically walked to the end zone.
It was the literal most wide open player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like nobody within 20 yards.
Yeah, that's a crazy route too, because he probably I think he was blocking to start and then he just peels off. Mm-hmm. And for Jordan Love to have that much time for him to finish that route and then just fucking throw it up to him is fucking crazy.
Because they didn't get out after Jordan. I didn't see Jordan Love under duress at all during that game. We
got 4 pressures the entire game.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
I think Bosa even said something about like he didn't seem like when they asked him about the film in an interview, like they didn't seem like under duress or anything else. He was kind of just sitting in the pocket making accurate throws, and he was really spreading the ball around. Dobbs had a good game for sure, but like everybody was just getting on.
The only person who did was Jaden Reed. Like, everybody else was in on the action.
Yeah, and I guess Jaden Reed had the most amount of money on him. He was the top guy on the Packers for money, and he didn't do anything.
I had money on him.
Yeah, so did Will.
It's just it's tough because I don't want to say and just blame the coaches. I think yes, you had the picks from Dak, but like you guys still put up enough points to win the game. It's just your defense didn't do anything to stop anybody.
The first pick was just Jair Alexander being better than Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, one of them was a good play.
He ran that route better than Brandon Cooks did as a corner. So, and then the second one was just Darnell Savage being a fucking ball hawk, and he was just hovering over CeeDee Lamb because at that point, I think they might have been down. They were down like 20-0, I think, before the pick six. And at that point, you're kind of just feeding. You got to like force feed your guys. Yeah. And he just came down from the safety and fucking picked it off. But that's when it was over. That pick six, that's when it officially ended the game. You're like, well, this was cool. Good season type shit. Eagles fans, hella happy at that point. They're like, fucking pussies. Little did they know what would come next.
But before we get into that, talking about that first pick, like I just don't. The only reason I put it on Dak, why are we going to Cooks?
No, it's not on Dak. It's just he covered him very well. I mean,
no, I know, but like, I just don't understand why we're looking that way with Jair Alexander on Brandon Cooks on a slant.
He's not thinking that at the time.
He's not, but and then Jair Alexander the whole week before, Pack is back, and fucking after the game.
This Packers fan, the lady didn't know who he was, but they've been talking about Jair moving on from Jair, and I'm like, can't really move on from him now.
He kind of playing really good.
He's kind of your only good secondary piece, and then Savage is your safety. I mean, you won't really have another corner. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, Pack is back.
Pack is back.
Now they're gonna go
to San Fran.
But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, but kind of going into in division, talking about the Eagles.
Now we're going to the Eagles. Same thing.
Well,
okay, not really the same thing, but the same thing. I think the Eagles played the better team on paper, definitely for sure. Yeah, but the Eagles are, I think, worse than the Cowboys, especially defensively. They also didn't have A.J. Brown. Like, I'm not making excuses for the Eagles. They played like shit. Mm-hmm. They played really fucking bad. And Baker just dragged, which we all knew. We all knew that Baker was going to fucking drag his balls across that defense. That defense is fucking terrible. Rashad White was doing all right. I mean, everything was open.
Was that the worst tackling game ever?
Oh my God. Zoe is one of the big guys on like defensive players like tackling. Mm-hmm. And like he hates when that fucking, it's corners. Corners don't know how to tackle. They don't wrap up. They just throw a shoulder and expect them to go down.
If you think like if they just make some of those tackles, like you're stopping a whole touchdown for being scored in the game.
Literally two of the touchdowns were scored because of a broken tackle.
And like you're letting like David Moore rip off a fucking 70-something yard run. Mm-hmm. Like Trey Palmer and all these guys. Like Mike Evans ain't even the one that's killing you.
And Mike Evans even dropped like 3 deep balls.
I know.
Like,
and then
that could have been
Chris Godwin had that touchdown at the end of the game that didn't really matter, but he wasn't even really doing a whole lot. It was You're like third and fourth receiver and your tight end. K. Dotton was fucking killing them. So, and then the run game was just enough. They just had enough for the run game. And Baker's smart. He didn't make any dumb plays. He's tough. He ran when he needed to run. And I don't know. Then you go over to the Eagles' offense. The Eagles are just so predictable. You know exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Man, I think I have a hard question for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Was last year
a fluke?
The Jalen Hurts aberration year?
The outlier season?
Yeah. Is Jalen Hurts like really not that good?
No, because when you...
Or is this an outlier?
When you look back, that OC and DC were like really good last season. And then they bring in... The only excuse I can have is that they have a whole new coaching staff besides Sirianni.
Well, their OC went to be the head coach of the Colts.
Yeah, and
who had a chance to go to the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
So you see the impact there of him taking a Colts team without their like top ever pick and Anthony Richards go down to like week 3. You bring a well-known backup QB in Gardner Minshew, and you damn near that catch you make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it shows how good of an OC they had, but I'm not gonna say it was an outlier season because of all the changes in the OC and DC room, and then you like think like. Outside of Darius Slay, you don't have anybody in that secondary.
It's so crazy because like James Bradbury's not like bad. I don't understand why he's getting cooked. Like even Slay was getting cooked, and I don't know. Like your linebackers are good. Like you have Shaq fucking Leonard. You just signed Shaq Leonard. Your D line is fucking amazing. Like the secondary is just not it. Them losing Chauncey Gardner last year is huge, I guess. Blankenship is the worst safety in the league. And you want to know why? It's because he's white. That's why. He's ass. We don't do DBs. So I don't know. The Eagles are just so confusing. The Cowboys are just so goddamn confusing.
With how good the Eagles O-line is and with how good the Cowboys O-line is, the lack of being able to run the football is fucking crazy.
Yeah, they didn't run the Swift. They said he ran the first drive. They ran the first drive and they got like a couple first downs. And then even the announcers were like, why the fuck are we not running the ball? You're only down 7-0. It's like they went down 7-0 and just abandoned the run.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that. I get it's the playoffs, but you can't just abandon the run that early. Then you become one dimensional, and they were just picking them apart.
Obviously, when you don't have AJ Brown, who is a top 5 receiver in this league, no excuses. But he still didn't play. Dallas Goedert had frustration with Jalen Hurts. I feel like it was just everything was culminating to them losing this game. Like. I think Shannon Sharp said it best. Like, even he was getting called a hater for saying the Eagles weren't legit and everything else. But, like, when you actually, like, watch the games and not just box scores, they weren't the same Eagles team from last year. Even at the start of the year. Like, they've had good wins. Like, they went into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs. And, like, they've had these good wins. You can
always tell who watches the games and who's just a box score looker.
Yeah. But it was alarming. I think Sirianni's going to keep his job, though.
Yeah, I think he will too. I mean, if Mike McCarthy didn't get fired, I think Sirianni's not going to get fired. Which Mike McCarthy has only one more year left in his contract, so I think they're just going to ride that out.
And then you think like, okay, so if you're a team like the Eagles and Cowboys who are, in theory, championship caliber teams, you think, well, if we don't have a chance of getting Bill Belichick, we might as well just keep what we have.
Oh, definitely. And Bill Belichick has just had his second meeting with the Falcons today.
So, yeah. And I don't think Bill Belichick would go coach the Cowboys. I thought about the Eagles more than the Cowboys.
Bro. Like, who the fuck are the Chargers going to sign now?
I don't know. Vrabel's out there.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. That's a good one.
But for the Cowboys, kind of talking both teams, but like if you're not going to go get a better option at head coach, you might as well keep what you have and just go find an OC and DC in terms of the Eagles case.
The Eagles are definitely going to fire their OC, and DC probably. They'll fire both of them because I know their DC is getting head coaching looks somehow. I think it's Ben Johnson. Is that his name? Or is that the Lions guy?
No, you're talking about the right guy.
He's the OC, though.
Yeah,
he's the OC?
Yeah,
he's getting like head coaching like talked about. Like people are going to interview him. But, yeah, because they have Patricia at DC now, which I think he's not going to get fired, but I think they're going to move him down because he wasn't even their starting.
He'll go back to his original position.
He wasn't even their starting DC.
Yeah.
So, and which is crazy that they didn't even get better with him being there because he's always been at DC. He was the DC when the Patriots went to the fucking Super Bowl and all that kind of shit. So,
I think it's a player's kind of thing.
It's definitely a player's thing. There's no way it's a fucking coaching error.
It's just as soon as both games started on that first drive, like watching the Cowboys game, I'm sitting here, I'm like,
Yeah, because you're like, the other team scores so fast. You're like, this punt. You're like, when the Cowboys punt, this shit about to be sick.
It's the most popular thing we say in the chat. As soon as the team scores fast, man, this 3 and out.
This 3 and out about to be crazy.
No, because I told my GM, because we had a snowstorm, so we're talking before the game and everything else, and my GM's a huge Cowboys fan at work, and he's over here talking. I was like, here's the script. Packers come out, they're going to score on that first drive, and y'all going to be rattled, but y'all go win the game. They didn't win the game.
No,
they didn't win the game. And then as soon as like the clip came out after the game of Baker Mayfield and the smelling salts, I would have threw a band on it.
Smelling salts?
He took smelling salts right before he walked out into the field.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, Baker in on it too. He kept going back.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield been crazy. He loves football. He's a football guy.
Yeah.
Even back when he was in like the Panthers and he was headbutting motherfuckers without a helmet and on the Rams and shit.
Watching OU was electric. Crazy.
We can kind of get into them and the Lions because this is really an underdog-driven kind of postseason we're walking into with CJ Stroud having to play Baltimore this weekend. And then you got 2 teams I want to see, 3 teams damn near I want to see win, even if the Packers are in the division. It would be cool to see them upset the Niners.
It feels like that fucking Browns-Texans game was so long ago. It's just because that was on Saturday. And, I mean, that game... It started out good. It started out really good. We were throwing haymakers back and forth. It was like CJ Stroud. It's like 75-yard touchdown. Joe Flacco touchdown. Then CJ Stroud touchdown. Keep going back and forth. And then Joe Flacco, he got a little too antsy.
Yeah.
Threw back-to-back pick sixes.
Well, we knew that was the thing heading into this game. It was a trend that Joe Flacco can make great throws that they need him to make, but he's also kind of putting the ball in harm's way.
So he throws the 2 pick sixes. That kind of sealed the game. A couple nothing drives after that, and Texans won. I mean, I definitely didn't expect CJ Stroud to tear up that defense like he did. I don't think anybody did. Nico Collins is very good.
I did.
He's elite.
Nico Collins is very good. They don't even have... Every time they win, they don't have Tank Dell. Every time they're going to get... Once they get Tank Dell back, I mean, that offense is going to be scary.
With looking at it from a whole, we're looking at... I guess you would say the top 4 defenses in the league are in the playoffs. You have the Browns, Cowboys, Niners,
and
Ravens. The other team that was probably in the top 5 is the Jets. So you have 4 of the top 5 defenses in the league. Browns got hella points put up on them. Cowboys got 40 ball put up on them. Probably should have been 50.
Eagles got
got smoked. So like you're looking at all these high-powered defenses just kind of fold in the playoffs.
Well, no, not the Eagles' offense or defense.
Eagles are not high-powered.
Yeah, no. I don't even know why I said the Eagles. My fault.
But looking towards like the Browns game, like even with Baltimore's defense being as good as it is, CJ Stroud is just... I don't think you can rattle him. He's like a Joe Burrow. Like, I've never seen CJ Stroud at all this year, like, rattled.
I think it's going to be interesting. Like, I don't even know what to expect. Like, I don't know. I might have to bet the Texans so the Ravens win. I think that's just what it is. Like, I don't know. Because if I just bet on the Texans, CJ Stroud will play like shit. And it's easy like that.
I think this is where it ends.
Yeah, I do too.
I think everybody does. I think everybody's assuming.
We didn't really notice, but like I saw a graphic. The Browns defense did take a step back in the last like 6 weeks of the regular season. They started giving up a lot more points per game, a lot more yards.
Still good.
Stuff like that. Ravens are not.
No, Ravens are a whole different story. So this will be interesting.
I had this on here as well. Like, is CJ Stroud having not the best rookie season, but the most impressive in terms of what he's come into this season?
Very impressive. Nobody expected the Texans to do anything, which I think is like a good story about a lot of the teams that are in the playoffs right now. Like, nobody expected the Bucs to be like this. No one expected the Rams to kind of be like this area of like good. No one expected the Browns to be like this. So this season tells you anything that can happen in football. So I mean. They were, who would they say? It was Tony Romo. He's like, it's kind of crazy what can happen when you have a good quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you have a good quarterback, like, that's just, that's it. That's what you need. That's everything.
It's everything.
And I think he was talking about Josh Allen. And, like, it just makes your team, like, your life just so much fucking easier. Like, so if you go get someone that's a generational, like CJ Stroud, who's going to end up being the best player in his draft, that's kind of crazy.
Especially with
it's awesome.
DeMeco Ryans also being a rookie head coach.
Like it's like first time ever a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback have made the playoffs.
Like you said though, anything can happen. So like as much as I want Lamar to get this ring, and as much as I want the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, like I think I'm not gonna be super upset if the Texans beat them.
Being in Baltimore is a huge thing. I don't think people are gonna understand how big that's gonna be. That because when you come into Baltimore. bro, you get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. And I can't remember what the slate was, what time they play.
They play at 3 o'clock. They're
That
the
makes
first
sense.
game on Saturday, and then the Niners are the second game on Saturday.
Yeah, they're at night.
But
Because they're in San Fran.
I'm sad that matchup did happen because I thought
It's two teams you don't want to see go out.
It's Texans and Chiefs I really wanted to see in the second round because I thought that would be a
oh my god, some of these the games that are on Saturday, I just keep forgetting, like the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Like, we could just talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, did anybody pick the Dolphins?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
And I could see why. I mean, fuck, man. I don't even know what to say.
The weather was
so I'm not
crazy.
The Dolphins get no sympathy from me because all you had to do was win week 18 and you're not in that situation. Mm-hmm. You beat the Bills at home. We're talking about a completely different situation. Like, Dolphins don't end up playing them week 1. They don't end up going to negative 30 degrees and just getting railed. So
that would have been the Texans.
Yeah, it'd been it would have been Bills Chiefs. Yeah, in the first round, I'm pretty sure.
The Bills wouldn't have played like the Dolphins played in that cold. I can promise you that.
Yeah,
Bills
so
would have been ready to play.
Very, very odd. Yeah, no sympathy for me. I mean, they did look like shit, but it's hard to bet against the Chiefs at home.
Mm-hmm. No matter how the weather was, the Chiefs are just going to find a way to win games, especially with that defense they're leaning on more and more. Took care of the football. I mean, the Dolphins just kind of looked. As soon as like the third quarter got going, like you saw the Dolphins kind of give up.
Yeah, Tua just played so bad. I can't even blame it on him fully. I think the OC is Mike McDaniel their OC.
Basically,
he's got to be.
Yeah,
I say I think he is. I don't know what he was cooking. There was nothing. They had nothing like worked. Their O-line was just giving up. He was calling some bullshit at the end. They couldn't run the ball for shit. So I don't know. They just got dominated. You can't even be mad.
It's kind of the same narrative they've had all year with them kind of being
soft. This is
soft.
what I said. I always said they were going to go into the playoffs. They're going to win all these games. Like, I said the Lions were going to do it too, but they didn't. They're going to win like 13, 12 games, get beat the fuck up in the playoffs. And that's exactly what happened.
Dolphins are a team that you can bully, though. Like, you see, just because you have Tyreek Hill, like, the Chiefs, if there's anybody that knows what to do against Tyreek Hill, it's going to be them.
And Andy Reid and all them, they're going to know what to do.
Yes, and, like, they were just getting physical. Like, that's how you beat Miami. Like, you just get physical with them.
Those DBs were playing good. Their whole defense, this is definitely the best defense Mahomes has ever had. Mm-hmm. And it shows.
That's what makes them dangerous for sure. But this is... I'm not going to say this year is a failure from Miami.
No, definitely not.
But getting into the playoffs, I think you need to... It's not even a weapons thing.
You just fell apart at the end. Yeah. That's really what it is.
And your defense was super hobbled going into the playoffs.
Oh, my God. Yeah, their defense had crazy injuries. Mm-hmm. You just fell apart at the end of the season when you don't want to, and then it translated to the playoffs. So, yeah, that was kind of tough for them.
I think this is a team that just run it back. Don't try to make any crazy things.
Tua needs an extension. This is his year to talk about an extension. I'm not sure if he has a fifth year, unless they already declined it or something, or they haven't even brought it up. Because if Fields already has a fifth year, I'm going to guess Tua has it. Or this is just a contract year. But I'm going to guess they're going to bring him back. You kind of have to.
Yeah, I mean...
I remember Jason asked this in the group chat. He said, do they bring Tua back? I'd be like, are you a fucking idiot?
Like, who are they going to go get?
Who else are they going to go get?
Like, there's nobody else.
And have that same kind of production. Like, he was talking... You can't just place this one game on his whole season.
No.
Like, that's what people are so quick to do nowadays. Like, he's their quarterback of the future. They're going to re-sign him and everything. Now, maybe after this next contract, if you want to get rid of him, that makes sense. But for now, you have to stick with him.
I'm interested to see how much he gets paid.
They did pick up his fifth-year option, which is next year.
Okay, good. So then they can. So they're going to be in contract talks, or extension talks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It really depends on like what his play looks like, not this year but next year, because it's interesting to see like how much he does end up getting paid with all the QBs in his class getting the money that they got.
I feel like he'll want to come back. He definitely wants to stay in Miami. I think him and Mike McDaniel have a really good like 1-2. I think they're really good together.
He's unlocked to his full potential of what he could possibly be.
Well, also getting Tyreek Hill helps a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But like you could even flip that to like Josh Allen, like getting Stephon Diggs. Yeah. Like obviously you're going to need weapons when you want to be at that upper echelon elite level of quarterback. Mm-hmm. But an OC like even McCarthy, like with Dak Prescott, like you can say all you want, past 3 seasons, 12 wins every year. Dak Prescott having an MVP caliber season this year. Yes, you can't base it all off that one game, but you gotta look like Dak's having his best year with McCarthy. Tua had his best years with McDaniel, and then you add Tyreek Hill. Josh Allen wasn't doing these kind of things until Stephon Diggs arrived in Buffalo. So like you need to have pairings. It's not just a one man show.
Well, speaking of Buffalo, how about the Steelers, man? They tried. I can't even be mad at the Steelers.
That bullshit blocked.
I can't. They had the Bills on the ropes for about a quarter.
Yeah.
When it was 21-14, you're kind of like,
They scored.
And they had the ball, and they had the ball. They're like, oh shit. We're like, we could get a tie game right here, and then everything fell apart after that.
See, here's my main thing with the Steelers. They have all the outer pieces you need. Like you say what you want about
just quarterback.
Yeah, it's legit just quarterback.
Yes.
So in a game where you don't have your best defensive player, arguably probably the best defensive player in all of football, you don't have him. So you're looking at it, and you're still in a game with Buffalo on the road in this like blizzard kind of weather. You're still in this game in the third quarter, but it's always coming down to a point in the Steelers when they're in a game and they can't just run the ball. They need a quarterback to go get some chunk yardage and go make a play at the quarterback spot, and it's just every single time, no matter if it's Kenny Pickett, Mitch, Mason Rudolph, it doesn't matter. It seems like they can just never figure it out at quarterback.
Like, Mason Rudolph didn't look like... Okay, so the first quarter was bad, or like I'd say the first half was pretty bad. Then he got kind of comfortable in the second half, and he looked fine. Like, he was actually hitting Pickens, and, like, no one was giving him any help. Pickens fumbled in the first quarter. Freiermuth fumbled. Luckily, they called it, like, it went out of bounds.
And that didn't go out of bounds.
And I swear to God, I think they said that he was out of bounds when he touched it. I think that was the problem. Their defense, I mean, you can only do so much without TJ. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have any kind of pass rush, and then bad tackling. Justin Fields, Josh Allen, runs for a fucking 60-yard touchdown, longest of his career and longest in Bills history.
Even Shakur broke one off.
But Shakur rips off a run because no one can tackle. They said that they were talking about Josh Allen. They thought he did a fake slide because he kind of slowed down, but then he started ramping back up.
He was just bracing to get hit.
But I think he was bracing for a hit because Josh Allen doesn't slide.
No.
Josh Allen does not slide.
Josh Allen's going to try to hurdle you before he slides.
He will.
Kind of getting into, I had it on here, if in the playoffs, out of the people in the playoffs, is Josh Allen the best performer in the playoffs? Because when you look at Josh Allen,
good in the playoffs.
When you look at him in the regular season, all the picks and everything else, but when it comes to the playoffs and it comes to the big moments, like he steps up. Like he's stout. He steps up every single time. He has I think it was like not even a quarter of the picks that he has in the regular season all time in the playoffs. Like he takes care of the football. I feel like he always makes that one rushing play for like 25 yards in the playoffs.
He's a very underrated rusher.
Mahomes is the best.
Yeah, Mahomes
is the best playoff quarterback ever.
Josh Allen could be 2 though.
Think could be
Josh Allen could be 2 though. And then obviously it's not Lamar.
I'm sorry. There's nothing more I want to see than the Bills to win this weekend.
We just ain't seen Justin Fields in the playoffs yet. We don't know what he can do.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. I mean, when Justin Fields get in the playoffs, like shit. But when he take the Falcons to the playoffs next season, whew.
I don't know. Baker might have that division on chokehold for the next year.
If they get Justin Fields, they taking them down.
No,
I might go to that game. They get a Fields Falcons jersey.
Your heart would be torn.
I'll take the over.
He'd probably drop at least 80 rushing on y'all.
He would. No, I'm talking about a Bucks Falcons game.
Oh, a Bucks Falcons game.
Yeah, with Fields at quarterback.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a Falcons Bears game.
Man, we fuck up the Falcons again.
Stop. But I don't know. It was kind of something that I thought of because just looking at his stats wise and looking at his resume, like the only knock you could have, I guess, is last year when they did play the Bengals. He didn't really play the best.
Yeah.
But like every other time they play the Chiefs, it's like. It's one of the best games. Like, I still think that divisional game is one of the best football games I've ever seen. And, like, Tony Romo's not going to know what the fuck to do with himself on the call. And that's a Sunday night game. So, I mean, there's nothing more I want to see than the Bills to win this weekend.
I give Josh Allen, like, a lot of hate. Like, I like the Bills. Like, I'm, like, a secondary Bills fan. But, like, Josh Allen can only... I always say Josh Allen can only take you as far as Josh Allen, like, wants to, basically. So if he plays like shit, you're gonna lose. If he plays really good, you're gonna win. So there's nothing like because that defense ain't gonna save you. That defense is all right. They're banged up as well.
Yeah.
So I think that it's gonna suck this year because when they go play Kansas City, Mahomes is gonna use that. Mahomes is gonna maybe take care of that, and Rashid Rice is probably gonna have a really good day against them.
It's gonna be interesting because both of those teams have a tall task if whoever wins that game. I think Buffalo might have a better chance to win against Baltimore in Baltimore than KC does because they do have Stephon Diggs. Like they do have a good top tier receiver in the league, other than KC, who's just like, Baltimore's probably just gonna sit on Travis Kelce and then like, all right, Pacheco beat us in the run game, and that's not gonna happen either. So I really want to see Bills and Baltimore in the championship game for the AFC, but the NFC, I mean, we can talk about kind of the matchups going into this weekend because, I mean, Tampa and Detroit's going to tear the house down.
Well, we talk about Detroit and the Rams. I mean, the Rams tried. They put on for their city. Puka Nacua is a fucking star.
Yeah.
This dude, and we all knew this throughout the regular season, but for you to break like all these records in the regular season and the playoffs, like Cooper Kupp, sit down, old man. Like this is my wide receiver room. Like, I don't know.
Really
he got held on that one last catch.
Oh, he got held. He got pass interference. He got late hit.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that went on in that catch. But, I mean, Stafford, he went in there. It was cinema. This is what we wanted. And we got everything we wanted from that game.
Had Eminem on the pregame.
Calvin Johnson was there. Barry Sanders was there. They had a lot of people there. And they were mic'd up. And Calvin Johnson was like, I'm going to need you to give me one or two. And he said, I ain't talking about touchdowns. He's talking about interceptions because he wanted the Lions to win.
Yeah.
But I think both quarterbacks played really good. Mm-hmm. Both teams played really good. I mean, if the Rams just manage those timeouts a little better.
And their secondary was just getting eaten alive by St. Brown.
I think both teams played really bad on defense. Mm-hmm. Besides that, second half it kind of turned up a little bit. First half was really bad.
Yeah.
That was like touchdown. And then after that, everybody kind of felt each other out, and there was a lot of punting. But I think Dave Montgomery and fucking Gibbs are definitely the best 1-2 punch in the league.
You think so?
I think they're the best running back duo in the league. And then Amon-Ra, fuck man, he might be.
He's creeping up.
He's creeping up.
He's creeping up.
I think like name value is pretty big nowadays.
I think
so. Like you see a name like Amon-Ra St. Brown, you're like, okay,
I think
maybe
he's
not top 10.
He's borderline top 8, top 7.
Yeah, definitely.
He works a lot out of the slots, so it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, he's fast, man.
Yeah.
He's fast. He gets a lot of receptions. He's a reception guy, and it's really the run after catch where he kind of excels. He's not a deep threat. He's not going to catch you down, but a lot of
Josh Reynolds, though.
Josh Reynolds revenge game. Jared Goff revenge game. Matthew Stafford revenge game.
Matthew Stafford.
It was awesome.
Like when you're watching him in a big time game, I've never seen a more surgical person with the football.
Matthew Stafford's awesome.
Like it's the no looks in the bucket every time. Yeah, it's like
he bent doing this. Like and it's so great. He's gonna get his flowers. Like he's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer. Like he got the ring. That's really what was the only thing keeping him from doing that.
What about the booing?
The booing. I think you do it just to like. It's like a booing you don't really mean, but like you just boo the team.
Yeah.
I think they're more booing the Rams than actually just Matthew Stafford. Mm-hmm. Because Detroit was rocking. That first Rams drive, the Detroit was rocking, man. It's awesome to see. Now they got a date with the Bucks.
It's crazy to see like a team like the Rams kind of cash in all their draft capital and then still end up being good because they hit in the draft later in the draft.
They drafted Kyron Williams. They said he's going to be a lifelong backup. So this is going to be a lifelong backup running back right here. At Notre Dame.
And then Puka's now your number 1. I mean, Cooper Kupp's the best number 2 in the league.
Best number 2 in the league, I guess.
Cooper Kupp won the Triple Crown 2 years ago. So, I mean, like, it's interesting to see, like, their progression into still being competitive. I mean...
Higby did tear his ACL.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly.
That did it.
If you're looking at, like, I forgot the safety that did that. He did the
Joseph.
Yes, he did the same shit to CJ Hawkinson when we played him in the end of the year. The same exact movement. And Stafford went up to him and said that was a dirty play. You know exactly what you did.
No, he said it was a good hit, but you're a dirty player.
Oh, is that what he said?
You're a dirty player. And which is kind of like
he did the same exact thing to CJ Hawkinson, like the same exact movement and everything going out the legs. But in terms of like what the Rams, like if the Rams added a couple pieces to that secondary, like Rams are prime ready for like another possible run next year if they stay healthy.
They need to draft some O linemen, and like they were showing some stats of like their rookie D linemen, like their rookie D linemen are leading the league in rookie sacks. They have 2 of them. It was like 8. It was like a guy with 8 sacks and a guy with 7 sacks, and then it was like Will Anderson or something. I was like, who the fuck are these dudes? So I mean, there's obviously pieces on that defense that like are gonna be good, but like they're rookies, they're younger. They definitely got to get that secondary fixed.
I think if you can just go get one kind of veteran
They need
little
a linebacker. They losing Bobby Wagner was kind of big. Like they need someone in the middle that can kind of clog the run game. But
this is what kind of happens where you see a team like the Rams, who might not be the most upper elite talent wise, but you have a great coach.
Oh yeah,
you have a great quarterback, and you have Aaron Donald on your defense. There isn't too many things on your team that are going to fuck up. The only thing that's bad about the team is the secondary.
Yeah.
But other than that, I could see, and Nick said the Rams are going to be shit this year.
Yep.
But I think the Rams are going to be... It just sucks because they're in a division with the fucking Niners to where like they're always just probably going to end up being a wild card team. But I think they're going to be... Rams are going to be sneaky for the next 2 years whenever they have them.
You know what? My take was based. Matthew Stafford came into the year hurt. We didn't know Puka Nacua was a person or Kyron Williams. That defense was shit. All that was there was Aaron Donald.
True.
That was a valid take, I think.
It was at the time.
At the time.
Now Puka Nacua is going to be...
Cooper Kupp was still hurt. Cooper Kupp wasn't even supposed to play. He didn't play.
Yeah.
That was valid.
You're right. I understand.
No, your take is valid for sure.
At the time, for sure.
But I'm very happy for fucking 2 in division teams. Look at us. Look at 2 teams in our division and the divisional.
I mean, shit. I mean,
look our division's stout next year.
Did I expect it to be us too? I mean, I expect it to be you. Like,
Kirk Cousins don't get hurt. We're looking at a different story.
I expected me and the Packers kind of just
are we though?
But
no, we are. Kirk Cousins don't get hurt. Like, we're talking different story. But kind of going into like the matchups and everything, going into the divisional, we can kind of start out with. So the first game is going to be Texans and Ravens. Who are we picking for that?
You're going to go Ravens. You got to go Ravens, but then if you're like, okay, well, the Texans win, like, you're not sad. Yeah. You're like, oh, Texans going to the fucking conference championship? You're like, shit, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to go Ravens.
The Ravens have to win this game.
Yes, they can't afford to. If we see the Ravens, Cowboys, and Eagles lose in the same playout, like,
you might as well just give the 49ers the fucking trophy now if the Ravens get out.
The Pack is back.
The Pack is gonna try.
Pack is back.
I just don't think they're gonna get it done.
But looking into the other side, Chiefs and Bills. Is
Chiefs
this the
and
year?
Bills. I'm gonna go Bills. I'm gonna go Bills. I think
this is the year.
I think this is it.
Do you think I think they just win in a classic.
I think it's just gonna be a really good game, and I think it's gonna come down to basically those receivers having to make a play for the because I don't know if the Chiefs defense is good. Don't get me wrong. Can they stop the high-powered Bills offense? Maybe not. But Bills are gonna Bills.
Yeah.
So
there will be.
I'm kind of talking myself out of it, actually.
So listen, there will be an interception by Josh Allen, but
it will look so
cool. Fire.
It will look
so fire.
It'll be like a deep ball and like it look cool. You got to give Mahomes at least one. He'll probably throw one. I'm gonna go Bills. But I will not be shocked at all if the Chiefs win. I'll just be like, okay, wow, they're not at home. No, they're not at Arrowhead this time. I forgot about that. It's the first time they're actually in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Oh yeah, that makes me want to go Bills even more.
So here's the script. Here's what I'm thinking. We're going Bills, but the Chiefs are going to be marching down the field on the last drive of the game to go win the game, and you're going to see what they have done all season. You're going to see a dime by Mahomes into a drop pass, and that'll be the game.
There's going to be a missed call in quotation marks on like a 4th down or something, and it's gonna go incomplete, and Mahomes is gonna fucking freak out at one of the refs, and that's gonna be like one of the ending plays of the game.
It would be crazy to see a drop.
Yeah,
Kadarius Toney over the middle drops. That'll do it.
He'd probably get cut at midnight. He's cut off that team.
I would like to see Kadarius Toney have a game, though.
I wouldn't.
I would like to see Kadarius Toney have a little bit of a game.
I don't even think he gets PT anymore.
He doesn't. Fuck no, he doesn't.
I don't know if he gets any routes.
I wouldn't give him PT, God.
So we're all going Ravens and Bills, so one of those teams is going to lose.
Yep.
Yeah.
But flipping over, I think game of the weekend. Tampa and Detroit.
Tampa and Detroit's going to put fucking food on people's plates, bro. Like, this is going to be an offensive onslaught, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and, oh, man.
Detroit's going to be rocking.
I'm going to go Detroit, mostly because I think the home field advantage is going to come in huge against a team like the Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm. Tampa's gonna come in ready though. It's not gonna be a blowout.
They're gonna come in ready. I love games that are played inside because you can't really. There's no like excuses or anything like weather permitting stuff. So they're gonna be in Detroit, and if you can give me a Detroit like 49ers NFC Championship, oh my God, I'm gonna love it. Be awesome.
As cool as it would be to see like Baker just championship game, like the story, it's right there, writes itself.
I think that Detroit's gonna figure out Baker. I think they're gonna kind of understand what they're doing.
I think they're not gonna be able to stop St. Brown.
No, I don't think they will. That secondary might get torn up.
Tampa has a pretty stout run defense.
They have a really good defense. They have a really good defense.
Yes.
It's
These
just
are
that
two top 5 running defenses.
It's just like who's gonna bend and who's gonna break. Basically, like you don't know. I think the Lions are gonna take them down. What is that opening spread? I gotta look at that shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. As much as I would like to see Baker get to the championship game, I think Detroit just has a little bit more on their roster, and I just trust Jared Goff more than Baker.
6.5 to the Lions.
That's too many points.
Really?
Touchdown. It's just a touchdown.
I think that's too many.
You know what? I'll be fun. I think I'll take the Bucks.
Ooh.
I'll take Baker.
Over under 49.5. I think that's a perfect line, actually.
I can just see Detroit winning by a field goal. Detroit is good, but I don't see Detroit like blowing anybody out kind of good.
No, I don't think they'll blow the Bucks out at all, but I think they could win by a touchdown.
I could see it.
Maybe a backdoor cover.
I think here's the script.
I mean, the Bills are only 3-point favorites at home.
Yeah. The script is Lions make a game-winning drive. Lions make a game-winning drive.
Game-winning drive?
Yeah.
To go kick a field goal to win?
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield game-winning drive to go to the NFC Championship game.
Sick.
I'd be sitting right here watching the game and be like, wow, it's going to be Baker Mayfield, Brock Purdy to go to the Super Bowl.
It's like, holy shit.
The Super Bowl. But I'm going to go Detroit. But whoever wins this game, I'm satisfied. I would rather see Detroit because I think Detroit gives whoever comes out of the next round a better fight. But going to this other game, Niners and Packers, what's the opening line on that? Like 7?
It's like 9.5.
I think that's too many points for a playoff game. I just do.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I think that they could. I think they could win by 10.
They could just shut them down with that much rest, or I guess not that much rest, but
2 weeks.
2 weeks of rest. I mean,
rookie
quarterback.
Yeah, could have some. Packers go score on that first drive.
Probably.
They go march down that field and make it look crazy.
Then at 3-0.
Make it look crazy.
But like, it's really if their defense can just hold up just enough, I think they'll be fine. Because you saw against the Cowboys rush, I mean, the O-line did pretty good. I'm not saying that the Niners and Cowboys are the same team. You saw the Niners perform in the O-line pretty well in the first game against the Cowboys. You saw Jordan Love make the throws. You know he can make the plays. He spreads the ball all over the field, so it's not just force-feeding one guy, kind of what we saw Dallas do. But it's more so I would like to see the Packers win, just because I think the first half is really entertaining, and I think the Packers could possibly be within 3 or up in the first half, but I think the Niners end up pulling away in the second half. But
probably.
But you could see some rust from the Niners. Like, I think you're going to see some rust from the Ravens just being off, and you're playing kind of Texans and the Packers are the two hottest teams like in the league right now. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
No.
I can see the Niners winning by a touchdown, but like I think the game's going to be pretty close all the way through, maybe until like maybe the fourth quarter the Niners pull away.
Type shit.
But so we're pretty much looking at Detroit, San Fran, Chiefs, Bills / the Ravens.
Yeah, that's what should be. And I think that's what everybody's gonna pick.
I want to pick the Packers. I might throw a coin on the Niners so the Packers win.
Ooh, that's what you have to do.
I might see that happen.
That's what you have to do.
But it's gonna be interesting. I'm glad some of the matchups are a lot better than I thought they were gonna be. Like Tampa being better than what they were supposed to be. Like
awesome.
The only team that shouldn't have been there. Even they put on a good game, so I can't be mad, is the Steelers.
Yeah, they tried. They tried. That's all I can say.
I mean, next year.
Bears don't give up 50 points to the Packers, though.
God, I wish I could say the same thing about the Vikings, but
Bears
we might.
Our defense? Hell no. They only gave up 17 week 18.
We talking about the Bears at the start of the year?
Start of the year, we might give up 100.
The Bears ain't giving up 48 to the Packers.
We might give up 100 in week 1. We gave up a lot week 1. We got blown out week 1. But we were a different team at the end of the year.
How fitting is it? Like, I feel like all the narratives just go right in place. Like, Cowboys just lose, the Eagles get dominated.
Everything just makes
like,
sense.
It just always makes sense.
It's like everything's just making sense now.
But now, next week when we tune in and do the
Next
pod,
Thursday, yo.
So we're gonna.
We will have our championship games set.
So we're gonna look at the Ravens somehow lost in a heartbreaker. We're gonna look at Tampa Bay beat Detroit, and then we're gonna look at KC beat the Bills, and then we're gonna look at the Pack is back in the championship game.
It's gonna be Packers Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like, holy shit!
Packers.
If Jordan Love won a Super Bowl this year, he's gonna have a statue. Like, he could be asked for the rest of his career, and it don't matter.
Here's the thing, because the last thing I have on here is what QB needs the Super Bowl to win. Needs the Super Bowl win the most. And I don't think it's anything to do. I think it's only two of them.
I think it's Lamar. Yeah. Lamar needs.
It's gotta be.
He's gonna win his second MVP most likely, or Josh Allen. But Lamar's gonna probably get his second MVP this year, and you still only have one playoff win.
Yeah,
which is crazy. And if you can go get that ring, you are solidifying yourself in like the upper echelon of quarterbacks probably all time.
Yeah,
2 MVPs, you got a ring. You're like the leading rushing quarterback like ever. Like, there's a lot of shit.
I think it's gonna be interesting because I also think like Brock Purdy kind of has a little bit of an argument. Just for more solidifying.
I don't think he has to. I mean, I think people know like what you're gonna get from Brock Purdy and what he's gonna give you, and like even next year, Brock Purdy even has now maybe next year. Yeah. Lamar doesn't really have that because I think he needs to get going like now. Yeah. This is his time. Like, if there was any year to do it, it's this year. You have the best team.
It's oddly everybody but Brock Purdy on the Niners.
yeah. Like, Christian McCaffrey needs a ring. Like Debo needs a ring.
That shit more than Brock Purdy does. Like, Kyle Shanahan needs that ring more than fucking Brock Purdy does.
I think Jared Goff, it would be full circle for him.
Goff would just be, for him to win a ring would just
fuck it, why not?
Would just be taking away the loss that he had in the Super Bowl, basically. Like, you kind of just wipe that clean. You wipe that slate clean.
And he would get a statue in Detroit.
Yeah, and then Jordan Love, he's playing with house money. Basically, you're going as far as you care right now.
It's scary, man.
Whenever you lose, like, it's like, okay. Like, we're not mad, whatever we played. You went above and beyond expectations.
Pressure always gets these top teams in the playoffs. We've seen upsets happen multiple times before, even just this year. But, like, teams playing with house money, like a Tampa, like a Packers.
Like, get a movie made about him if he won the Super Bowl this year.
Who'd you say?
I said Baker would get a movie if he won this year.
The Netflix doc would be crazy.
I'm not going to say Mahomes, but, like,
If he got
that would be his third
3 and 5 years.
3 and 5 years is sick.
It would be meaningful because of what they've went through. This is the first year for the Chiefs that they've actually like went through something.
Yeah.
Throughout the year roster wise, and I don't know if, in my personal opinion, I want to see either Lamar or Josh Allen get it. But when you said Jordan Love get a statue, I think if Jordan Love even just beats the Niners, something Aaron Rodgers couldn't do. Like, in his first year as a starter.
Like, oh, shit.
Then you're like, damn.
There's going to be some crazy combos.
If they beat the Niners, they're going to the Super Bowl. And they might win the Super Bowl. Like, it's fucking...
You think so?
I think so. Because you took down the Cowboys, you took down the 49ers. Then you're taking a little step down, and you're going to play either, the Bucs or the Lions.
Yeah.
And, like, I get the Lions. In division game, he's already torn them up once. He can do it again. Then you're playing the Bucs, who... I think the Bucs beat the shit out of them when they played last. So, and then you get to the Super Bowl, and the way the world works, like...
You got Buffalo.
Let's say he plays Buffalo or something. That game might end 40-40, but, oh, man, it's just crazy. I can't even be mad at that point if he did do it, because you're kind of just like, holy shit. Like... I don't know. In years past, you could blame the Packers, like, for everything. Like, refs, bro. Aaron Rodgers. But, like, now you're kind of just like, damn. I mean, it's just being a better athlete, just being some athletes out there.
If that NFC Championship game, if it was Detroit and Packers in division, like, oh my God. And the Packers won, God, our division would be in shit for the next decade. Oh my God, our division would be in hell.
Yeah, that would suck.
But if the Lions win, and then it's like, damn.
There's
hope for the rest of the bottom feeders of the division. But... that's kind of all we had for this episode of the Barrel Talk Podcast. You guys want to wrap it up there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Barrel Talk Podcast. Hope to see you tune in the future episodes.
See you later.